Hello everybody and welcome back to Vintage Thursday. So we had a few weeks off, we've been busy on other things, but we're back to it today. Hopefully behind you can see we have got the 1200 and the 178. So we're into the end of October now. So what we're going to do, it's time to change the antifreeze in both of these tractors. So normally you could test the antifreeze with an antifreeze tester to make sure it's strong enough. But both of these now are due for change. So we've got our, okay, so this is what we've got. It's our new, this is a new drum of, it's just a, I don't know, it's nothing special, it's just antifreeze. But it shows on our, I'm not sure if it's picking it up, there's kind of three strengths you can use. 25% will protect you down to minus 12 degrees, 33 or 50% it goes down to 40. 40 degree protection for 50%. So what we're going to do, we're going to drain out the old antifreeze, flush the system through, and we're going to mix today at 33%. That will give us, okay, so that will give us protection down to minus 22. We're in the south of England here. It never gets to minus 22, but minus 12, at 25%, minus 12. Occasionally, we might have the odd night getting that low. So we're going to go 33%. I've checked the instruction books for these two machines. The 1200 takes 15 litres in its cooling system, and the 178 takes just over 10. So we're going to put a third of 15, 5 litres in there, and just a bit over 3.5 litres in the 178. So a lot of people kind of question what is the best antifreeze to use. The reality is they're all the same. There's loads of different types, loads of different colours. This one I've got is supposed to last 2 years, and there is longer life ones as well if you want to pay a bit more money. So which one's best? They are all the same as long as they are mixed to the correct ratio and they're not too old. They will all protect to whatever the manufacturer says. The only thing you must not do is mix the colours. So if you've got blue in there, you've got to stick with blue, or orange, or whatever colour you've got to stick with the same colour. And if you buy a tractor, so I've had both of these for a few years now. I don't know when either of them was changed, so that's where they're going to get done now. I don't know the history on the age of the antifreeze in these machines. So they're going to get changed now, and then obviously from then on I will know how fresh the coolant is. So it's called antifreeze and summer coolant because you don't want to just run water in the summer, because part of the makeup of the antifreeze, it's got corrosion inhibitors in it to make sure the inside of the block doesn't rust, because you don't want rust and sludge building up in your engine, because then that's going to lead to overheating as that sludge build up, prevents the water from getting around properly. It's going to make your engine run hot, and that comes from rust. So if you've got your antifreeze in, you don't get no rust. It keeps everything running just a little bit cooler. So we'll show on the 1200, it's just a little bit, it's a little bit bigger, it's easier to see. So the radiator obviously at the front, there's a drain tap in underneath, okay, to drain the radiator. Perkins engines, they're all pretty much the same. The drain for the engine block is always kind of at the back somewhere on the right hand side, with either a plug or this one's got a little tap. The 178's just got a little square plug. Okay, so the same principle on the 178, we can see the tap here, bottom of the radiator. A bit dark in there, but it's just on the end of my finger there. And back here, just below the fuel filter, in the back there is a little square plug. So we need to take that plug out and drain the antifreeze out. So obviously for 1200, and me not being over tall, we need to take the cap off. So we need to just remove the cap, because obviously you need to let some air in to let the water drain out. Now, something else on cab tractors, you need to put your heater control in the cab to on, so that opens a circuit so that any water or coolant up in the top and the heater matrix can drain down. So you can't, again it's too dark, you can't see it. Hang on, let's get some light. Okay, so there is the control for the heater, and that is open. So we are going to drain the water out from the heater element up in the top of the cab. Got a bucket to catch underneath. Okay, so I put a bit of rubber tube on the end of the drain for the radiator, because if I don't do that, it just falls into the frame of the machine. Probably hear better than you can see, but we're now catching in the bucket. So we can open our block drain and just wait. And it's going to take a while for 15 litres to come out at that speed. Ooh, green in the 178. You can see I'm coming out much quicker out of this tap. And a different colour again, so we mustn't put blue, mustn't top up blue with green, or green with blue. So we're just drain it out. Start afresh. So the 178's drained out much faster, so what we're going to do now, we've got a hose pipe in, we're just going to flush a bit of water through, just some clean water. 1200 still dribbling, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to drain that out, so we'll just flush a bit of water in through the radiator. You're just flushing a bit of rust out of there. Look, it's a bit grimy. So we'll shut that up, let it fill up, and then flushing some goo out the back as well. Look. We'll just let that run through until it comes clean. Right, so we've got a nice clean stream coming through now, so we'll turn off our flushing and just let it all drain down. And then we'll put the bungs back in and measure out our antifreeze to make sure we get the right amount. Right, so we're all drained out now. As you can see, we've got our back plug has stopped running. The tap in the radiator is dry now, or has stopped running, so we can shut that up. Just give them a little finger tight is enough, and then we can get the plug back in to lock. Meanwhile, 1200 still dribbling. So the radiator's nearly finished. Block is still going a bit back there. I just put a little bit of water in with the bungs closed, just so we make sure we've got no leaks, make sure our bungs are tight. And then we'll measure out our required amount of antifreeze and put it in, and then top up with water. So just make sure we got water going in. Just put couple of litres in, that'll be enough to make sure we can then check our bungs are tight and we're not losing any before we put the antifreeze in, because we don't want to be putting antifreeze in and then find it's leaking out. So that's good there. The block's dry. So we'll take our hose pipe out for now. So like I said at the start, 10 litres capacity in the 178, so we're going to go 30%, 33%. So we're just going to go three and a bit litres. The ideal measuring tool for your antifreeze is your vintage Thursday mug. See, it's giving me got the 178 on there. This is ideal for measuring out antifreeze. Not really, but anyway, if you would like your vintage Thursday mug, go to the full instructions are in the description down below. But what we're really going to use is a plastic jug. So this is a 2 litre jug, so we're going to put 1 and a bit, nearly 2, into the radiator. Okay, so there's two. We are in for our second jug full. If I can get it in there. Right, when it's getting near the top, you don't want to be have your tap running too fast. Okay, and there we are full up. So what we'll do now, we just put the cap on and start the tractor for a minute or two, just to run it, make sure there's no air locks, check it again. Right, so he's chugging away now. 1200, still dribbling. What we'll do, we'll get our hose pipe in there. As soon as that stops, we can turn it on and that flush on through. So while this was ticking over, we filled the road 1200 up again with water, so that's flushing through. Let's just check our level. It has dropped down a bit to the, so it's at the bottom of the neck of the radiator now, so it's dropped back a bit, but that's still plenty enough level. We'll call this 178 finished. Shut them down. What we'll do, just take them for a little run up the lane and back, because this isn't going to do a great deal of work now before winter. The 1200 does have a job to do, so hopefully next week the 1200 will be in action for Vintage Thursday. Right, so I think I think I'll finish the 1200 off in a minute. So you've seen the full process on the 178. 1200 is kind of halfway done. So don't forget, if you would like to purchase a Vintage Thursday mug, details in the description down below. So even if you haven't already subscribed, please do so to come back next week and hopefully see the 1200 in action. Other than that, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.